I'd like to thank the Student Advocacy Center for allowing me to be here tonight and to share my story with you all. Again, I repeat that my name is Marquan Kane. I'm a senior at Pioneer High School. Today I'm here to tell you all my story, Ghetto Glory. So without further ado, in the projects of Liberty Square, my mother gave birth to my brother at the age of 15. At the age of 17, she gave birth to me. You see, we were brought up in a gang-related family, home to both Bloods and Crips. So it was inevitable for my mother to get caught up in the family business. So around that same time, she began pushing weight, selling crack, hustling, whatever means that she needed to do to put us through in life. And I thank her for all that she did. Due to all of this, there were guns all throughout the house. As far as I can remember, guns in the kitchen cabinet, in her bedroom, underneath the couch. I mean, this was the dangerous culture and environment that I was brought up in at a young age. We were brought up in a world of poverty, violence, and instability. My family was chronically homeless and frequently had gang raids on their houses whenever they did settle down. So the timing of my birth really couldn't have been worse for my family. When I was 8 years old, I raised my fist to a drunken man, like little kids do to show how tough they are. He responded by pulling out a .357 Magnum, and he placed it to my chest. While I froze, everything in my living room kept on moving. My mother was getting high on the couch, so she didn't take any action. So I ran in her room, tears in my eyes, and I locked her door and I cried myself to sleep. When I was 9 years old, around that age, my brother and I began raising ourselves, leaving out early mornings, staying out late nights. In school, we were getting suspended nearly every week for fighting, stealing, and most definitely cussing out teachers. I was coming to school with fruit snacks stuck to my shirt, wearing a shirt that was 3 sizes too big, with bleach stains on it, holes and rips in my pants, shoes busted open, and talking, as they say. I had poor hygiene and I had poor self-esteem. And I was brought up in a culture of honor, so I was quick to jump at any sign of disrespect. My world perception was pretty grim around that time. Most of the people in my family and around me were drug addicts. They never spared my eyes from using it in front of me. They would take light bulbs and smash them, take that powder and inject it into their veins when they mixed it with heroin. It's a horrible sight. Even before our birth, we were exposed to the dangers of this world. Tyrone, my brother's father, would beat my mother, and he would stomp on her stomach during pregnancy. So I faced a long battle even before I got here. Around this time, I started going to the local library. I became close with the library staff, and eventually started to join some of its programs. I played Yu-Gi-Oh! With the high school and college kids, and after a while, they would invite me into their homes, and here I was at the age of 12 years old, walking home from the south side by myself at night. See, I had to be street smart because of the environment and circumstances that I was placed in. Life was testing me every day. After all the conflict we were involved in, my mother foreseeing that it was never ending, she began to talk about moving. And on March 22nd, the day I turned 10, we were all evicted and forced to move in with my grandmother. Now, at the age of 10, I landed my first job at Elm Tea Party Store, where I worked on stock and inventory. And these cats, they mentored me. They gave me the game. They taught me how to hustle. They taught me how to shoot. They made sure I was doing my homework. They made it clear to me that if I ever went to the streets one day, I'd be sure to catch a bullet in the back myself. Now, this was crystal clear to me. I had real-life experiences and real-life examples of what this would look like. Around that time, I lost a cousin when a drug raid got shot by an AK-47. So I understood the real consequences of it all. Rest in peace. So although I was my own parent, I really had my community all around me that helped to raise me. Now, Tyrone was notorious for a number of crimes, including rape, murder, armed robbery, drug dealing. The list goes on from there. I recall a time when he made my brother and I crawl upstairs. My mother's legs were across the glass table. And he took it back and he smashed the legs in it and he broke them. He then took lighter fluid and he poured it over her. He then started walking towards her with a lit piece of paper towel. He said, "Call your mom, because you're about to die." And when she called, he disconnected the phone line. Now, thankfully, my Aunt Jessie was upstairs and hopped out the second floor window and got help. I mean, who would have known what could have happened? And all I know is from there, he made my mother crawl upstairs and hide from the police. Terrible memory. was also an instance when he climbed a 3-story brick building and was actually successful, and he got to us, right? So I mean, we were always in fear, always on the run from him. I know for me, he would make me drink liquor at a young age. And every time I was around him, my legs would shake, and I would tremble. I was in fear all the time. This was the feeling that my family faced. So we were always on the run, and due to that, we were homeless for a great deal of time. We weren't going to take any risks. We weren't going to take any chances with it. So we'd be homeless, we'd be in and out of shelters, in and out of the safe house, and staying with friends when they graced us. So when we found out Tyrone was soon to be released from prison this time, we decided to move cities and didn't take any chances. We moved to another project, South Maple in Ann Arbor. Now, I personally never wanted to make the move. My brother and I wanted to get caught up in the lifestyle. We told our mothers at young ages that we wanted to grow up and be gangsters. And when a gentleman recommended to me that I get baptized, I told him, nah, I didn't want to change. I didn't need any saving. I was fine with my life trajectory up until that point. Now, this neighborhood, which would soon claim the lives of my friends, is really no different than the conditions that we live in. That's what poverty is. Different ghetto with the same problems. Now, my brother and I, when we got to South Maple, after a while we got put on to be runners. So we'd walk into stores, steal everything that we could fit in our bags, and then take those goods, exchange them for cash. We kept that process going, and that was our hustle. So it was more than survival at this point. Went from stealing food, toilet paper, toothpaste, other necessities to candy, video games, fireworks, and eventually moved up the ranks from there though. That all changed though one day, because I remember my brother got caught. From then, something else got in my bones. So, once again, I already had real life experiences and real life examples. I could already see the signs of where this was going to land me. So I decided that I would still attend Ann Arbor public schools, that I was going to stay with my grandmother in Ypsilanti. And due to this, I had to become disciplined. Since the age of 11, up until my junior year, I had to wake up every single day at 5 a.m. to catch that 6 a.m. bus so I could make it to school on time. Until around my sophomore year, I was never late once. So I started to become more increasingly self-reliant, to control my own destiny. I decided I was going to be my own man, that no one was going to save me, and I had to save myself. During the summers, I'd return home and begin setting up a living space for myself at my mother's. I stopped shoplifting, I started to walk away from fights, and I started hustling. I'd buy a $10 bag of Jolly Ranchers. I'd sell each piece of candy for about 10 cents. I'd take that money, about 27 bucks each bag, take that extra 17, buy another bag, flip that, and keep the process going. That's how I got my hustle on. That's how I paid my phone bill. That's how I put clothes on my back when needed. So, in school, I had 3 to 4 bags of candy. I mean, I was the plug. That's like a bonus. I'll tell you what's up. True story. So I started to go to Peace Neighborhood Center, and I really wish Bonnie was here in the crowd tonight. I credit him to a lot of my success. Oh, here? Peace Center began to take heed of my actions and some of my responses as well. I met a man there named Paul Johnson who changed my world. Every time I'd see him, he'd call me Mr. President. I mean, literally, every time I'd see him, we'd exchange a couple thoughts, dab him up, he'd call me Mr. President. And he believed it too. He had more love for me than I had for myself at that time. God bless him. Paul, Bonnie, Jeff, Jasmine, Andre, they all would nurture me during my program days. They helped redirect my life trajectory. They became mentors for me and made me realize that others are watching my actions, that my life carries with it a lot of responsibility. My life was testing me every single day. And although I had a few role models, I had some of the best examples of what not to be like. I had to pull my siblings out from the circumstances that I was placed into. I knew then and there that I had to be the leader that I needed when I was younger, that they would desperately need now. So, I understood that this was a generational cycle. This was much bigger than me. So I stopped personalizing the struggle and began to pull myself out of this. Now, I knew that all by myself. I've had a lot of organizations that helped me along the way. Now, I got this type of love from Peace Center. I got it from school teachers. I got it from the drug dealers on the block. When I'd see them, they'd come by and we'd dab each other up and leave a $5 bill in my hand. These people would help keep me off the streets by helping me understand that this wasn't for me. Because I had already learned from them. I didn't have to do that. eventually, this is the story of my suits. Eventually, a neighbor gave me my first suit. He gave me the tie, he gave me the dress shirt, the pants, the whole 9 yards, right? And then after a while, he found out my suit collection grew a little bit, and he decided to give me the rest of his. From there on out, since sophomore year, I've been rocking them every day. So now that I had the wisdom from my elders, suits to get me started, and street smarts, I now had a different focus. I began to move my moral compass, change my life trajectory. With exposures I had to different cultures and environments, making friends with different people from different socioeconomic backgrounds, go to my summer respite camp Algonquin, taking heed of my disparate situation at home, you can understand that what I was experiencing was not normal. It was not normal. I had 2 younger siblings under me. I didn't want them to relive some of the experiences that I had to. So I knew something had to change. So eventually I began working again, doing odd jobs, from working at a retirement home, to dishwashing, to landscaping and construction. I had a new hustle. This time I was working more than to support myself. I was working to support my family. Emotional support, food, financial support, whatever they needed, I had their back. Because that's my family and my mother had my back. So my activism all started during my junior year. In AP Economics, I gave a presentation on the prison industrial complex. And in that presentation, I talked about a family friend named Rafael de Jesus, who was sentenced to 60 to 100 years. 60 to 100 years for his first nonviolent drug offense, despite having no fingerprints on the drugs, and everyone else folded on him and said he was this huge kingpin. And he didn't tell on his friends. And that's wrong. So, in it, a classmate, Matt McCormick, he went home and he told his mother, Justice Bridget McCormick, on the Michigan Supreme Court. She reached out to me, and from there on, I started my career in activism. See, I began to turn that anger into a constructive force for good, and a passion for my activism. This is what kept me off the streets. This is what kept me in good trouble. It's the one thing that saved me. So, now, I'm an educational advocate on issues of climate change, prison reform, corrections reform, gun violence, you name it. I'm out there and I'm trying to help out my community. And I'm blessed and honored to serve my community to the fullest of my capacity. And so, I would like to thank Student Advocacy Center for all the work that they've done to support me through this, for providing me with the wonderful opportunities that I've had along the way. Thank you all.